Hello and welcome to my third video. I've changed the angle on my phone, so I'm sorry if it looks like I'm looking away at the camera, because what happens is if I look like that at the little camera dot on the far left hand side of my phone, it looks like I'm looking straight on. However, if I look at my fat, bald, ugly self on the screen, which I can't help but do until I get used to it, it looks like I'm looking away, but I'm not. I'm just trying to get used to it. Anyway, on this video, I'd like to talk about the link between depression and drugs, especially cocaine, which is my experience. The link is there, it's real. Now, I don't know if you see my previous video, the second video, I spoke briefly about something called dopamine. Now, in case you didn't see it, I'll explain again briefly. Dopamine is something that's in the cocaine that gives your brain that buzz, that rush. It puts you on a high. Now that's automatically there, but it needs to balance out. So basically what happens is you take a line of cocaine, your dopamine levels go up and you're there on that high. So after you've took that line of cocaine, when you start coming back down again, you go on a low. And it takes time to build that dopamine level back up to where it should be because you're low. Okay, so as a regular drug taker, especially regular cocaine taker, when you're taking that on a regular basis, your dopamine levels are so low and it's going to take longer to get that high. Now, what this leads to is depression, okay, as well as many other things when you keep thinking about it. The depression is there, it's real, as I've said. When you take a line of cocaine, as I said, the dopamine levels, they intervene, but you've also got, and believe me, this is real, the guilt, because we, as addicts, we do not like what we do or who we've become, because given a choice, we do not want to be in those shoes, okay? So that was also added extra onto the depression levels, and it's so difficult to get out of. So when you speak, this is there to help people understand those who are going through a problem with somebody who is taking drugs. So when you're dealing with this person, the worst thing you can do to them is scream and shout at them. And don't get me wrong, I understand it's difficult not to do so, but what's going to happen then if you scream and shout at them? They're already at a low. You're just sending them backwards. You're not getting them out of that vicious circle. Okay, so what I would recommend, and each person and family, friends, etc. is different. So I can't tell you to do this, but I can only advise. Speak to that person. Put your arm around that person. Let them know you will be there. It's not a matter of checking up on them. Just make them know you're there for them. The worst thing you can do is scream and shout, because they know what they are. I knew what I was, but I just didn't know how to deal with it. Something inside us has to click. Now, we can try and force that click to happen sooner. I don't know. I didn't realise that at the time that I needed that click to come. So I didn't force that. I just didn't know how to deal with that. I was getting screamed and shouted at from my family. My friends wasn't screaming and shouting at me, but I could see the look of disappointment in the face. And something just clicked eventually in me. And that's when I stopped. And I set myself goals and I set myself targets. But that click has to happen. That click is there to make that person think, hey, I'm stopping this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to do it for my family. I'm going to do it for my friends. I'm going to do it for everybody. But most of all, they're doing it for themselves, okay? Because when they get better, I can assure you their lives will be so much better and they'll be full of guilt. However, putting things right comes in time. I've got so many things I still need to put right, but that time's coming, and I'm also doing it bit by bit. So give them time. When I say, I'm going to say this, and it might come across like, oh no, you don't do that. Just don't be harsh. Give them a break, okay? But give them a break and put your arm around them and be with them. Go around, visit them the next day. Go around, visit them the following day, because they won't feel up to going out to visit you to get out the house, because Their heads is in recovery mode. But if you can put your arm around them, let them know that you'll be there for them, and just make that person feel comfortable. But please don't scream and shout if they're just trying to come to you with a problem, because if they're coming to you with a problem, it's a cry for help. And what do we do if somebody's crying out for help? You put your arm around them. You do what you can. Screaming and shouting, you don't do that to anybody that's coming to you for help. As I say, if they're coming to you, they're coming for help. It's a cry for help. Help them. Again, understand the dopamine levels. It's depression. It leads to suicide as well, knowing it to happen. And it will carry on happening unless we start educating people how to deal with the drug addict and how the knock-on effect it has. The way, in my opinion, is the way we're dealing with drug addicts in this country at the moment, or the way we're educating, sorry, not dealing with, I'm going to take that back. The way we're dealing with education, it's not right. It's not happening, because people learn about what it does to their bodies, but they don't care. And I knew what it was going to potentially do to me. I didn't care. The best way to teach somebody is by letting somebody who's been there on the bad side of it, nearly lost everything or has lost everything, to go and educate people about what you can lose. Because the harm drugs that can do to people is not going to stop those that want to take drugs. It's the knock-on effects that people have to understand and realise. That's what can help people stop drugs. That's what can help people stop taking drugs in the first place. That is where education needs to come in. But unfortunately, I don't go to schools. It's something I want to do in future. I'd like to do that, definitely. I'm going to be training to be a drugs counsellor. That's my job. It's not my job at the moment, but that's my goal. That's my target. It's in the early stages of happening, but it's happening. But as I say, just give them a break. Put your arm around them. Tell them you're there for them. Go around and see them the next day. Keep them company. You don't have to stay there all day. Take them out. Take them out for a walk. Anything. Get them out of the house. Do it the next day. Go around. If you're free, it's as if you're free. If you're not, ask somebody else to go around. If you're with a bunch of mates and you're worried about somebody, take it in turns. Just be there. Be there for that person. Help them. Don't scream and shout at them, because I promise you, it doesn't help. It has the reverse effect of what you're trying to do. Jeremy Kyle has not got a clue, never did have a clue, hence why his show has been banned. So his way of dealing with things, I've seen it myself on the telly, he'd scream and shout at a drug addict, belittle them, make them feel small, and keep them in that worst place. People don't need that. If they're there, whether they're on telly or whether they're in your living room or whether you're at their house and they're telling you, they're reaching out. So you do not scream and shout at anybody that reaches out. Help them. Talk to them. Just be there for them. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I will keep posting other videos. So we'll learn how to deal with other things, and we'll also teach. I'm going to give advice on to family, to friends, to everybody else in the future videos. I'm going to give advice to addicts as well, how to overcome the addiction and how to turn out to be a better person in life. Thanks for watching.